make this country great again. It's not a great country right now.
It's always a great country.
See,
it's always a great country.
Okay, but I'm good with names, you know.
You are. Tampon Tim was good. Is
The
that?
problem with Tampon Tim, it's hard to say. There are some, like Comrade Kamala. It's a little hard to say. She's not bad, but when you put the names together, it's a little, you got to be able to pume.
Did it. That was the best dodge of the question.
You know what?
You almost charmed us out of it.
Trying to get out of it.
All right, so with the election coming up soon, both president nominees feel the need to go on every medium and every platform to get their name out to really kind of convince the people to vote for them. You know, Kamala has done Call Her Daddy, and Trump made an interesting decision to go on Flagrant 2. And while the interview was just regular, they weren't really asking him anything profound or life-changing, it seemed to have a negative effect on Andrew Schultz's business life, and here's what he had to say about it.
Yeah. I mean, so it was awesome interview and everybody loved it. And then a day later, Dove was like, oh, by the way, the venue you're going to shoot your special in canceled your shows.
No, damn it.
I waited.
Within 3 hours.
Doug, after we interviewed him, before the episode comes out, he goes to the venue. Everybody leaves. It's on Schultz's special team. All of them have to go to the venue, check it out. I assume everything is good.
People flew in for this.
Oh, yeah. So we've had these venues locked in for months now, something like that. It's not like we might do it here. It's booked. It's ready to go. We're going on sale this week. We have the entire production team come out for this is for the third time many of us are spotting the venue and looking at everything. We have the set design already curated. We're moving around seating plots, camera plot. It's ready to go. We're going on sale this week. And we get an email 3.5 hours out. After discussing with our board members, we don't think that it would be, there's email, you'll bring it up, but don't show any email.
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy that an interview alone was enough for a company to say, hey, we no longer want to work with you. While they have full right to be able to do that, we booked this months in advance, and you were fine with it. And he said some crazy fucking shit over the years, and you had no problem with it. But the minute he interviews someone that politically doesn't align with you and your moral compass, now it's like, hey, go fuck yourself. And they did that quickly too. He said 3 hours after the interview went live, they were like, fuck you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a deal breaker to some people, especially Trump. It gets there, but I don't know if it's necessarily. It's kind of weird to cancel a show over this. Is this really going to impact your brand that much as a venue or whatever? Yeah, probably not. But.
Especially when he didn't say anything. He never made it seem like he was okay. If you watched the Nelk Boys or Aiden Ross's stream when Trump was on there, it was very, very clear they were voting for Trump.
I think it's pretty clear Schultz is voting for Trump. It's very clear.
Like he's fucking around. I heard the
every time I've ever heard him talk about Trump, he's. My biggest problem is a lot of people play this both sides in game when they're saying Trump and Kamala. He does this. I get he's not a political analyst or whatever, but he does this too, talking about they're like two sides of the same coin. Whatever, one's bad. We're both whatever bad. I don't rock with that rhetoric at all. You can't compare these two at all. It's I don't know. I just feel very strongly about that. And for Schultz to always be playing that 50-50 game, whatever, they're just as bad. But he clearly leans Trump. Anytime, not just on the Trump episode, but anytime he's ever talking about politics or the election, it's always a super friendly, charitable side to Trump.
I was going to say that. I'm about to contradict myself because I did listen to the rest of this episode here. And they overly critique Kamala in the decisions she's made in her campaign and said she's losing the election because of the decisions she's made in the podcast she chose to go on. Meanwhile, there's a clip of Trump losing voters by alienating them. Basically, there was the one where I think an immigrant was asking him about farming and what are you going to do about the border? And these immigrants, they come in and they work really hard, and he just shitted on them. And then another Spanish person asked him a question, and he just shitted on them again unintentionally. Yeah. So he does give Trump a lot of grace. I guess I don't take that as an endorsement of Trump because I just know the podcast is shits and giggles.
Yeah.
So maybe my expectations are low.
I agree, but you're platforming this. When you're platforming this guy, if you're not pushing back on him, you're endorsing him. To me, that's how it works.
Okay.
Like you're amplifying his platform. You're giving him exposure. You're giving him publicity. You're exposing your entire audience to him, and you're validating him as a person. If you're not pushing back, that's what you're doing.
Would you not consider him pushing back when he constantly points out that Trump doesn't really answer the questions directly, and like he skirts around it? He did do that.
The only moment I saw that he pushed back on that I kind of liked was when Trump was like, "Oh, America's not a great country right now," and Shultz pushed back. He's like, "No, don't say that. America's a great country." That's the only time I saw him kind of push back.
Yeah,
that was like whatever. That was a decent pushback on it, but there was nothing substantive really. That's just like all. Yeah, he didn't have any. I mean, he's not a political expert, so I don't expect him to have that.
And also pushing back to a higher degree. The interview would go from an hour long to probably 10 minutes. Like, you could pretty much push back on Trump within 5 minutes, and then he's gonna be like, "I'm going home." Like, why the fuck? Because you could tell when he likes somebody, he even says it within a quick couple minutes in the episode. He's like, "Oh yeah, I really like you guys." Like, yeah, you could tell once his ego's fed, he's like, "Oh yeah, I can."
But they're laughing. Trump is funny. They're laughing up a storm next to him. 90% of the podcast is them laughing up a storm next to him, and just like laughing at everything he says, validating him. And I agree. I mean, it is what it is. Like, listen, we make content too. If Trump wanted to record an episode with us, fuck yeah, I'll get him on. I'm gonna push back probably, but
I wouldn't even waste my time.
I'm pushing back, but it's just I get it, but it just this is the result of what you did. You're gonna get people that push back on it. Do I think it's right for a theater to like cancel a show because of it?
Yeah,
probably. And I feel like that's probably like unnecessary from their perspective. Like, are you really gonna lose business because you platformed Andrew Schultz? I don't know. Probably not. But
I think the irony in it is
let's fuck around and find out. You did this, and this is a reasonable. This isn't like an unreasonable result, in my opinion.
Man, honor the thing, man. Like, if I booked this shit 3 months in advance, let this shit happen. But Schultz is about to pull up the interview to see kind of how they try to spin it, I guess, in a sense.
But it was BAM, Brooklyn Academy of Music, which is a venue they've shot tons of specials in. And 3.5 hours after the interview, they canceled shows. So, yeah, let's see if we can show the thing. Read the exact email, because they're canceling my shows, but they're also begging Live Nation to not cancel future shows with them. Like, they still want business, but they're like, just not this guy. Now, I don't know if it's a Trump interview, but the day before it came out, we were ready to go and we were going on sale this week. And 3.5 hours afterwards, we get this email. Yeah. First off, I want to thank you for thinking of BAM for Andrew Schultz's upcoming comedy show. We are always excited when promoters consider our space for their events. After some internal discussions with leadership, it was decided that BAM is not the right fit for this show at this time. That said, we really do appreciate you reaching out. We'd love to work with you in the future and for future events that might be a better match for BAM.
I ain't gonna lie, that would have triggered me a little bit. But that's like how a job sends a email when they reject you.
It's a political, job interview,
That shit just that just burned right in here, man.
It's like, yo, thank you for considering us, but go fuck yourself.
I didn't like one of those. I think what really sucks about this is that the general trend of that episode was that, in terms of the media, it was Schultz makes Trump look stupid because of the constant laughing at him. The media tried to spin it like Schultz was mocking him, so they preemptively tried to get ahead of it.
It was both sides, because he even mentioned this in this interview. It was like you'd see right wing media and they'd be like, "Oh, Trump has hilarious moments on podcasts." But you see the right wing interviews like, "Oh, Trump stumbles and gets embarrassed on podcast." It's just like whatever's narratives, however they want to spin it, they spin it that way. So that's kind of what he was bringing up too. But
I don't know. I mean, listen, I totally agree and understand if you want to say, "Hey, we don't want to align with people that support a certain type of politics," but you've already kind of did everything, and it was very clear everything was fine before that, and nothing else he had said within the years bothered you.
Yeah, because
keep that same thing.
It's different though, just because he said some wild out of pocket things before, that was all comedy. When you get Trump on during election season, we know exactly what Trump is going on this show to improve his election odds. He's not going on this. If he wasn't running for election, he's not going on this show. He's going on the show for his election. He's trying to get elected. So you're helping Trump doing this interview. You're not pushing back on him. You're giving him a platform and viewers to spread his message. So To be fair to them though, they probably did allow Kamala on as well to go on. I mean, I'm sure they would love to have Kamala on as well.
Yeah.
But,
I would say I think based on how they typically speak outside of Al does try to offer pushback like, hey, like no, Kamala's doing this, whatever, to as best his ability. I do think they would probably press her a little bit more on her political views and opinions. But I don't know. I mean, let us know what you guys think. Is this something Bam should have done, or was it a little messed up that they reacted based on an interview? All right, guys. Bye.